Yes, congratulations, Ryan. We can see from the celebrations what this win means to you, but how hard did you have to work for it?
Today it's a big win. When we come here, you know the game is the war, and today I'm proud of the team because this game is very complicated to win. I'm very proud.
There's a moment during a Manchester City match against Sunderland that tells you everything about Rayan Cherki. City's winning comfortably. The game's basically over. Most players would keep it simple. Pass sideways, run down the clock, avoid risks. But Cherki gets the ball near the sideline and does something wild. He hits a cross using the back of his heel, a Rabona, wrapping his right leg behind his left to strike the ball. It's one of football's hardest tricks. The stadium gasps. Phil Foden scores from the cross. After the match, reporters ask why he risked it when a simple pass would have worked. His answer,
Ryan is one of the huge talents I ever seen.
Just for the fun. I want to give pleasure to all the people. It's my work. That sentence explains why Rayan Cherki might be modern football's most important player you've never heard of. Not because he's the most talented or won the most trophies, but because he represents something slowly disappearing from the sport: joy. Cherki's story starts in Lyon, France, where youth coaches discovered a kid who couldn't be taught what he already knew. From day one at Lyon's academy, he played differently. Nobody could tell which was his stronger foot because both were perfect. Coaches tell stories about youth practices. They'd ask for a left-footed player to take a corner. Cherki would bend it perfectly into the box with his left. Next time, they'd want a right footer. He'd switch sides and deliver the same quality with his right. Thierry Henry, one of history's greatest players, coached Cherki with France's under-21s. Henry said he'd never seen anyone dribble at full speed, using both feet equally well. Think what that means for defenders. Normally, if someone's right-footed, you force them left where they're weaker. But Cherki? He's equally dangerous both ways. It's like guarding a basketball player who shoots perfectly with either hand. You can't take anything away. By 15, Cherki was playing Lyon's reserve team against grown men. While other teenagers worried about mistakes, he was trying rainbow flicks and nutmegs in actual matches. When coaches asked about his goals, he'd say, "Win the Champions League, win the World Cup, win the Ballon d'Or." Some called it arrogance. But is it arrogance if you genuinely believe it? At 16, Cherki made his professional debut. Months later, he became Lyon's youngest ever scorer. Then came the match that announced him to the world, a cup game against Nantes, where 16-year-old Cherki scored twice and assisted twice. 4 goals, all involving him. Even Kylian Mbappé tweeted about it. That season, Lyon reached the Champions League semifinal against Bayern Munich. When Cherki came on as substitute, he became the youngest player ever to appear in a Champions League semifinal, just 17 years old, on one of football's biggest stages. He looked like he belonged there. But talent at 17 and developing into a top professional are completely different things. After the hype came reality. Cherki loved to dribble, try difficult passes, attempt the spectacular. Sometimes it worked, and crowds went wild. Other times, he'd lose the ball trying something unnecessary. Fans got frustrated. He was booed at home, in his own stadium. He didn't love defending. He saw himself as an entertainer. If he scored and assisted, wasn't that enough? Coaches disagreed. Sometimes they benched him. Reports called him difficult, though people inside Lyon said that wasn't true. He was confident, ambitious, emotional, but not difficult. Here's where modern football's problem with players like Cherki becomes clear. The sport's obsessed with systems. Managers want every player doing exactly what they're told, exactly when. Press at specific moments, pass to specific zones, never take unnecessary risks, make football predictable, controllable, efficient. It works. Teams playing this way often win. But it also makes football boring. Think about players you loved as a kid, the ones who made you fall in love with football. They probably weren't the ones following instructions perfectly. They were the ones doing the unexpected, taking risks, making you jump out of your seat. Cherki represents that dying breed. Players who see football as art, not just a job. Who care about entertaining fans, not just winning efficiently. But to survive in modern football, he had to evolve. Between 19 and 21, Cherki changed, started making smarter decisions, pressing more, understanding when to dribble versus when to pass quickly, balancing natural flair with team needs. Crucially, he didn't lose what made him special. The tricks, imagination, joy, still there, just sharper. The 2024-25 season was when everything clicked. Cherki finished with 12 goals and 20 assists. Second most chances created in France's league. Won Best Dribbler award. Made Team of the Year. In Europa League, his 8 assists led the entire competition. At Old Trafford against Manchester United, he made defenders look silly with nutmegs, flicks, and turns. Every big club in Europe wanted him. Manchester City moved fast, signing Cherki in June 2025 for $34 million. They weren't just buying goals and assists, they were buying a philosophy. Pep Guardiola, City's manager, demands perfection. His teams play with incredible precision. Some critics say he makes football too mechanical. So when City signed Cherki, a player who improvises, who does tricks for the fun, people wondered, would Guardiola ruin him? But something interesting happened. Guardiola gave Cherki the number 10 shirt, usually reserved for the team's creative genius. A statement, "We trust you to be different." Cherki delivered immediately, scored on his Premier League debut, scored in the Club World Cup, scored his first Champions League goal for City, contributed in every competition, but he did it his way. After that Rabona assist, Guardiola said, "I like simplicity. I learned from Messi to never make mistakes with simple things. But if you have special talent and do the basics right, then you can do whatever you want. Earn the right to be creative by being reliable first, then be yourself." Cherki understood perfectly. He's talked about how modern football's become too safe, too cautious. He wants to bring back old-school freedom. Being an entertainer matters as much as winning, and he's not just entertaining, he's effective. Genuinely one of the hardest Premier League players to defend. Nobody can predict what's coming. Right foot, left foot, quick turn, step over. Erling Haaland compared playing with Cherki to playing with Kevin De Bruyne, one of history's greatest playmakers. That's his impact already. When City needs a spark, when everything feels tight and nothing's happening. Cherki's the chaos agent. The one who unlocks defenses with unexpected moments. But here's what makes this story bigger than one player's career. As football becomes more tactical, more systematic, more about following instructions, are we losing something important? Sacrificing entertainment for efficiency, joy for results? You can see it everywhere. Young players coached from age 7 to play certain ways. Creativity drilled out because effectiveness matters more. Taking risks discouraged because mistakes get punished. Fewer moments making you jump from your seat. Fewer players making football feel fun. Cherki's refusing to let that happen to him. Every Rabona, every nutmeg, every unnecessary trick is a statement. Football should still be beautiful. Winning matters, but so does how you win. The question is whether modern football has room for players like that anymore. Because here's the tension. Cherki's at Manchester City, one of the world's most successful teams, under one of history's greatest tactical minds. The pressure to win is enormous. The temptation to play it safe must be constant. So what happens when entertainment and winning seem to conflict? When the safe pass keeps possession, but the risky dribble might create magic. When following the system guarantees results, but breaking it might produce something special? That Rabona in a match City was winning proves Cherki chooses entertainment. But can he sustain it as pressure increases, as matches get more important, as margins get tighter, or will football's relentless demand for perfection eventually force him to become just another systematic, predictable, efficient player? That's what usually happens. The sport chews up creative players and spits out tactical robots. The system always wins, But maybe Cherki's different. Maybe he's talented enough, confident enough, stubborn enough to prove you can still play with joy at the highest level. That entertainment and excellence aren't opposites. Manchester City fans hope so. They've watched enough perfectly executed 1-0 victories. Now they have someone who makes them gasp, laugh, remember why they loved football. The rest of us should hope so too. Because if Cherki fails, if modern football's machinery grinds him down into just another cog, we lose more than one career. We lose proof there's still room for dreamers, entertainers, ones who refuse to be boring. And honestly, that might be modern football's most important question. Can you still be yourself and win? Or does winning require becoming someone else? Rayan Cherki's career will answer that question, one Rabona at a time.